Hello, welcome to another episode of Commander Durdle. So in today's episode we are basing our starting seed around cards from Aether Revolt. So the commander I've elected to go with is Yahenni, I think that is, Yahenni, Undying Partisan, 2 and a black for a 2/2. It's a legendary creature, Aetherborn vampire. It's got haste. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Yahenni, Undying Partisan, sacrifice another creature. Yahenni gains indestructible until end of turn. So not surprisingly, what I've done is decided to go with Aetherborn Tribal. So I've pulled in all the Aetherborn creatures from the set to basically hopefully make the algorithm go in a certain direction, and I've kept the other utility cards to a minimum. I've elected not to pull in too many things. I have an instant here, Perilous Predicament, where each opponent sacrifices an artifact creature and a non-artifact creature. And Yahenni's Expertise, so 2 and 2 black, all creatures get -3/-3 until end of turn. You may cast a card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So we have Gifted Aetherborn as one of our Aetherborn vampires. It's 2 to cast with Death Touch lifelink. There was an interesting shapeshifter in the set. So when this enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. So it's a tribal shapeshifter. It becomes a chosen type, but also it acts as a tribal lord and gives them an additional +1/+1 counter. So nicely reflects what's on here. We've got another Aetherborn card. Of course, some of these may get removed as stronger cards come into the deck. Defiant Salvager, another card that adds counters. Vengeful Rebel, which has Revolt on it. Midnight Entourage gives other Aetherborn +1/+1. Night Market Aeronaut, another +1/+1 counter. So you can see a number of these, their counters synergize with permanents leaving the battlefield, or are dependent on permanents leaving the battlefield. So I'm going to see how that gets handled by the EDHREC algorithm that's built into Architect. So yeah, Aetherborn Tribal. Let's see what happens, shall we? Let's start off with some land. Not sure if I really... Just trying to think if this has any use in the deck. None of the cards I've selected play around with energy counters. Just going to add the Darksteel Citadel. I don't know if if this is going to end up being an artifact deck. I mean, I know there are cards in there that care about artifacts, but we'll see what happens. Okay, since we're playing around with counters, that's pretty handy. It's always good. Some cool cards coming up here we don't see very often, so let's pop that in the deck. Maybe I will play an artifact land, and I'm going to need some swamps in here. So it's a Domineering Mastered card. Now, as we said in the set musings, there was no basic lands for this, so we'll have to take ones from the previous set. See what comes up. Oh yeah, look at that. And we'll take this up to around 36. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Thinking, why is that going red? I meant this one. Here we go. So I'm just going to put in the usual amount of instants and sorceries, you know, basically around or below 10, I think. Still trying to decide how heavy I want to go in on the artifacts in this deck. I don't think that's going to change much based on the land that I put in, but we'll see. It's a Dark Ritual. Let's get some. So this has come out from the set, which is interesting. It's definitely wanting me to seemingly go down a artifact route. I'm going to revisit that, I think. Just looking in here to see. If there is anything which really. So this one, when Ironclad Revolutionary enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, put 2/1 counters on Ironclad Revolutionary, and each opponent loses 2 life. Okay, let's see what sort of creatures it's suggesting. I think that's a good starting point. Yeah. Put in a carry. Just looking for a few support cards at the moment. Okay, so yeah, I suspect what's happening here is, as we can see, Aetherborn in Magic, if we're going to build Aetherborn Tribal, which is the primary concern here, a number of them you can see care about artifacts. So that's where that's coming in from. The other thing, of course, excuse my voice, is shapeshifters. And if they're an artifact shapeshifter, then this works really well in the deck. Also, where we're possibly sacrificing our own stuff. We're going to need cards like this. Let's just find all the Aetherborn. It's interesting because it gets activated when stuff dies. So yeah, I'm just looking at cards for cards that trigger on stuff dying. Just settle around that. I don't know. It doesn't need to get into the game until turn 7. That's my only concern. So let's go back in here and see what our artifact situation is. Soul Ring. It's interesting on Yahenni as it's a vampire. Let's play around a little bit with energy here. Maybe. "17 artifacts. Okay, let's take a look at some other stuff. What about enchantments? "92, so some open slots here. Let's look at some sorceries. One more card. Let's make it a Planeswalker, shall we? Okay, so let's export this and let's see how this looks when we run the playtester. I'm still using the old one because it just looks better on screen for some reason. Everything seems clearer. Okay, so 2 swamps, Cage Sun, Blood Artist, Decoction Module, so this goes out turn 3. So swamp, draw, swamp, play that. So yeah, we've got a bit of an energy sub-theme going on here. Now, we're going to run into problems in a moment if we don't start drawing more land. We're going to run out of gas. And we have, because we can't play anything. Oh, we're going to Metallic Mimic. So obviously when this goes in, I'm going to choose a creature type of Aetherborn. Oops, what did I do there? That was my next draw. Yeah, I'm still stuck here. So that was a Vault of Whispers. Okay. So now I can play out my Yahenni. Yeah, I've got a bit of a problem here, haven't I? Just not getting my drops. Oh, there's a swamp. Yeah, so now I can start getting more stuff out. So at least this is three land, which means I will be able to get my commander out. So it's turn 3 as well, so is that. Turn 5, turn 2. So turn 3. So this is looking slightly better actually. I can get that out if I want. I can get that out. can have this out ready to attach to the Yahenni. Let me do that. Yeah, this is looking much better. Okay. So I suppose with this deck, because it's a fun deck, yeah, a fun tribal deck, I'm probably more concerned with just being able to play stuff. And just seeing what the deck does. Yeah, this is nice. It would be interesting to see if there was a proliferate angle in black. You know, another possible tribal thing you can go with this deck would be Vampire Tribal. I've seen there's various decks on EDH Rec that fall into the aristocrats. I was going to try and say aristocrats, but aristocrats theme. And then there's a few sacrifice and life gain decks. And obviously, again, it's dependent on the commander. I mean, there's better mono black commander probably for those things. But it's always interesting to see like what rises to the top. And above Aetherborn Tribal, which is not well represented at all, is Vampire Tribal, and above that is Aristocrats. But yeah, that looks pretty good. So let's just have another hand. Okay, yeah. 3 here. And then, so this is off, well, we did have a bit of a problem with our first one. So this is a 1 lander. Yeah. So this is always a problem. We're in a position now where if we get stuck, this is not a good time because we're going to have to start discarding things. Now we do have, at least we do have reassembling skeleton, which we can discard to our graveyard and get back later. But let's see how long before we get land. Yeah, this is not good. We have a defile. I don't think so with 1 swamp out. So that wasn't a good hand at all. That's much better. Yeah, let's try some sample hands here. Yeah, oh, and got a Dark Ritual there as well. Nice. So 2 here, let's see how this plays out. Okay, back to 3. Oh well, yep. 5 and a Jet Medallion. That's funny. Oh, what's that? 5 and a Soul Ring. Crikey. So now it's going the other way. 4 and a Damnation. Yeah, Nizzy now. So, yeah. There's another 2-hander. Got a Skull Clamp. And so at least we can get our Skull Clamp out on turn 1. Again, bit of a problem here. And there's our swamp. So I think it's a little bit marginal. there. I'm not going to adjust it at this point, but I'm just wondering whether I would want to bump up my land a bit to like 37. And lose something here. Maybe again something like a higher casting cost card perhaps. I could play without the Planeswalker. Anyway, I'll post this deck as it is in the descriptions. Hopefully you enjoyed that episode. That was very interesting for me. It's always interesting to build these particular tribal decks where there's not necessarily a ton of tribal support. I mean, this is obviously better than some tribal cards in Magic, but I think generally, you know, outside of this set, when you think about other creature types, it is nice to see in other sets them sort of bump up certain creature types for those of us that like to, you know, build tribal decks and play around with that as a theme, really. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in the next episode.